Good afternoon. My name is Colin Berg, and this is Bridging the Gap, designing an internal communications program for the Philadelphia Police Department's police radio. This is for Rosemont College's Power and Politics of Communication with Dr. Francis Close, June 28th of 2026. Purpose of this study. The purpose of the study is to examine internal communications in police radio, identify communication challenges, apply organizational communication theories, develop an internal communication improvement program, and strengthen the overall operational readiness through better communication in the police radio unit. So here's a very quick overview of police radio. We're a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week operation. We're the fourth largest organization in the country for 911 calls. We answer all police, fire, EMS 911 calls. We filter those out and send transfer the calls to the fire department for medical and fire. Everything else will be handled by police or dispatched to another neighboring dispatch organization like Montgomery County, Bucks, etc. So besides taking 911 calls, the Philadelphia Police Department's 911 center also dispatches officers throughout the city of Philadelphia. We have 12 divisional consoles covering north, east, south, southwest, west, numerous different areas of the city. Our authorized staffing is it is 360 civilians. So we have 360 civilians in the 911 dispatch center. Currently, we only have 284. So that's 78.8% of our total personnel power. So we're short roughly 21%. But of that 284, 21 of them also work in administrative positions, and 16 of them are currently trainees who aren't able to dispatch on their own. So staffing numbers really overall for the 911 call taking portion are more around about 68 to 72%. So staffing shortages is something that obviously impacts our daily operations, and we have struggled with staffing going back to COVID-19. During COVID-19, we had a large hiring freeze, and we also had a lot of senior dispatchers who opted into early retirement. So we've never really recovered from those numbers, but we're working on it. So the current staffing challenges, like I said, staffing shortage. When we're short personnel, we have a number that we have to maintain in the radio unit. So if we need 26 911 call takers on a Thursday evening at 4 o'clock, well, when the first shift ends, personnel might be mandated to stay. If they get mandated to stay, employees tend to get a little burned out. Nobody really wants to be forced to stay for overtime. So then we see increased absenteeism. If you come in and work and then you get mandated to stay an extra 4 hours, you eventually, after that happens a couple times, you're going to go, you know what, I'm going to take tomorrow off because I already made 8 hours of overtime this week. I'm making more from the mandated than I would from working a normal shift, so I'll just take a day off. Obviously, the more time people are out, that creates harder work for other people. If we're short personnel, we're going to wind up having the need for people to work harder when they're there. Less time on breaks, less time on personals, which really hurts morale. So we see declining morale in the unit. We also at times struggle to meet the PEMA standards, and police radio doesn't exactly pay dispatchers that much. So when you don't make that much money and you're getting mandated, you have a busy job that can be very stressful. You deal with the worst of the worst in the city, the employee burnout. You add all that together, nobody really wants to do the job for that much money. So how do I do this research? Well, basically, I've been in police radio myself for a total of 6 years, 3 as a floor supervisor when I was a sergeant. So I actually have firsthand knowledge of how the room is ran at the lower level, and also now as 3 years as the administrative lieutenant. So in an upper management position where I deal with, helping staffing policies, things of that nature. So I've got the firsthand knowledge and observation to I've personally seen what all's going on out there. So these are my biggest findings. This is what I see as our biggest issues in police radio. Communication primarily flows from leadership down. It very rarely goes from the bottom back up to the top. And that's something that I think needs to change in radio. That leads obviously to limited opportunities for employee feedback. So we need a way to increase that. Supervisors, the sergeants and corporals, like I said, I was in that position. They're the ones who bridge the gap for up to down, and we need to make sure that those supervisors understand how to do that properly. Another big thing is leadership. I can tell you my chief, my inspector, my captain, none of them have ever worked in radio prior to getting their higher up positions in the chain of command. Therefore, they don't really know what it's like to be a dispatcher on the floor in police radio. Like I said, as a sergeant in the room, I knew what it was like for them on a daily basis. Too many times leaders just say, oh, well, supervise better or just work harder. And it's not that simple. Another thing I found is that transparency. There's very little transparency in radio. A lot of times it's just do what I say because I'm the boss and I said to do it. Simon Sinek, a good motivational speaker and bright man, likes to talk about the why. And I think the why is very important. We need to provide purpose. We need to provide the why we're doing things to the employees. I think everybody reacts better when we do the why. So yeah, making sure we have more transparency behind decision making. Primary communication issue comes from the disconnect between leadership and the frontline dispatchers. I just discussed that, the different perspectives on the operational challenges. Like I said, supervisors, leaders at the higher level don't know really how to implement what they want to do. And this causes a lot of frustration. A lot of ideas go down to the floor and they immediately get implemented, and within 2 months they fail. And if they would have just had some kind of two-way communication and didn't just make assumptions and actually found out and understood what the dispatchers were doing, then they would have, we could have avoided that whole decision-making process that wound up failing. All right. The more we do that, we kill our trust with our employees, and trust is the foundation of a leader. So we got to keep that trust up. So some organizational communication theories that can be used, and I discussed a little bit about our systems theories, organizational culture, communication climate, transformational leadership, Peter Senge's learning organization, and Tim Brown's design thinking. A couple things to go over. Systems theory. Everything works in a system, right? Every decision that is made affects somebody else who affects somebody else. And it's ultimately the entire organization suffers because the one decision may affect another area. In a business world, it might be a marketing decision affects sales on the main floors. Well, in police radio, a decision may affect morale, create absenteeism, which causes problems with 911 calls getting dispatched and people losing their lives. Transformational leadership is a big thing I would want to implement. It's more about empowering the people. It's empowering the employees, giving them ownership, getting them to buy into what we're doing, getting them to be part of the team.